How we doing, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Getting Jiggly With It. I'm Will, and today we're opening up the newest packs, or the add-on packs for Marvel Uno Ultimate Marvel. Not really sure which way it's supposed to be said, or if it's even supposed to have all of that in the title, but we do have the Doctor Strange, the Scarlet Witch, and the Spider-Man packs. So we'll go ahead and get these open up, show you guys what new abilities these cards add. A little overview of how they play, similar to how we did the core box. We did just finish a live gameplay of all three decks, so if you want to see how the decks actually play against each other, you can go check that video out as well. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and flip over the camera and we'll get started. All right, so there we go. These are the three new decks. So Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Scarlet Witch. They do all say 2022 edition. I don't know if that's a hint that they're going to make 2023 editions or 2024 editions. You do get the chase cards here. So we knew these three characters are coming out because the hollow foils in the core box were the same one. So it's really like these 7 characters were their wave 1. So I don't know if they're just going to keep releasing 3 packs. We mentioned during our live play we would like to maybe see some villains. They might do some anti-villains. Loki's probably a key contender there. But let's go ahead and get into these. We'll start with Ultimate Spider-Man. Well, I guess this is an Ultimate Spider-Man because that would be Miles Morales since it's regular Peter Parker here. So all the decks are going to come with their standard Uno deck that you're going to get. They come with this little piece of paper that just basically says a little bit about Spider-Man, about the character themselves. So the first thing is I did not, let me see here. I did not change me focus, which means these cards are not going to want to play nice. That's the one I think we need. Let me see. Whoop. And I've got the camera definitely in a different position than where I normally do. There we go. Took a minute. All right. So we do have Spider-Man. So his ability is webbed up. So when you defeat an enemy, all other players have to add 1 card and burn 2 cards. That means they have to draw 1 card in their hand, and then they have to burn, meaning discard 2 cards from their deck. Both of those, of course, are bad because it prevents you from getting either of the win conditions. His first wild card, Spider Bite here. Spider Bite, the next player flips danger cards until they have reveal an enemy, and then they're going to ignore the event cards revealed, but then they're going to discard them instead, right? But they'll still engage with the enemy, and that comes in for Peter because he's got this second wild card, which is Web Swing. So what Web Swing allows him to do is you choose an enemy, so basically the one that you made your opponent pull, and then you can move it to another player. Now that could either be to hinder another player or to help yourself, because if you can bring it in front of your character, right in front of Spider-Man, then you can defeat it and you can have everybody else draw and burn cards. So he's got a couple of them. And then his last, I think he's got one more wild in here. Here we go. He might have another one because, yeah, he's got with great responsibility. So the next one is Maximum Spider. So what Maximum Spider allows him to do is to just defeat an enemy outright, and you don't have to be facing it. So you can defeat. I was wondering, I'm like, it would be so nice if I could defeat, when somebody else defeated, I could perform his ability without having to draw him over to me. But this actually takes care of that because I can defeat their enemy, and then I can also then, of course, perform my ability. And then his final, because I think they all only have 4 wilds, if I'm not mistaken. Great power, great responsibility. You get to skip the next player. They add 1 card and burn 1 card. So Spider-Man's deck is all about having your opponents basically add and burn. Yeah, Spider Bite. He's got a lot of the Spider Bites. Spider Bite, that's most of his deck are Spider Bites. Another great power responsibility. All right, so those were his 4 wild cards. And then these are his event cards. So the event cards can be good, bad, or a villain. So the first one here, for example, Feint. Burn 2 cards. If an enemy is attacking you, you may move it to another player who is not being attacked by an enemy. So again, you can move that enemy off of you and then use that other card to combo it, whereas other people's decks wouldn't be able to benefit as much. Next one is Gamble. So this one, you get to add a card, then you get to recover 3 cards. Recover basically means that you get to take your burnt cards and put them back in your deck. We have Vulture here. So Vulture, when flipped, reveal your hand. So you get to share everybody your hand. While attacking, at the start of your turn, you're going to have to burn a random card from your hand and then add one card. So you're burning a card, but it's a card that's in your hand that you already know you want. Defeat, play any of those 3 colors. All right. Craven here. So Craven, when revealed, you have to add 1 card and you skip the next player. In a 2-player game, that is brutal because you draw it on your turn, you're adding a card, and then you're skipping the next player, which would be well, I said that backwards. It can be brutal if this gets drawn on you. So I drew this on Oddity. So basically when I drew it on her, she had to add 1 card because it went to her. And then it skipped her because she was the next player. When you play a non-wild action card, you add 1 card, red and yellow. Event Payback. On Payback, all other players burn 2 cards. Red Alert basically means that the color is now red. Green Goblin, when flipped, you may move an enemy to another player not being attacked by an enemy. So again, good for Spider-Man, not as much for everybody else. But then while attacking at the start of your turn, burn 1 card for each active enemy. So the more enemies that are out, the more harmful this card is going to be to whoever it's in front of. Defeat by playing a number card. And then his last one is Venom. So when flipped, add 1 card, then burn 1 card. While attacking, you may play a card, burn 1 card, and then defeat with a red and a blue. All right, so that is Spider-Man. We do have, I can't remember, we do have these, the shiny cards, right? The foil cards. We do have the web swing. One problem, we mentioned this in our first impressions video, is you really, again, Uno's not supposed to be a highly competitive game, but if you're somebody who cares that somebody might be able to fish out their cards, you're not going to want to add these in. They actually are visible in your stack because they're whiter than the regular cards. And I think it's that foil is kind of showing through on the edge, but just a little FYI for you there. All right. Next, we will go over Doctor Strange. All right. So Doctor Strange has astral projection. So what astral projection allows him to do is when you change the color, all other players, or choose a player, and they have to add 1 card to your deck. So it's a good way to target people that are getting down to Uno. The 2-player game, it just means your opponent's always drawing 1 card. Some people have said it's been overpowered. I felt like it could be, but I don't think it really was. The next one is your first wild. So the first wild is the Icy Tendrils of Ichthalon. Ichthalon. Reverse, and you can skip the next player. So basically in a 2-player game, that just acts as a reverse. For everybody else, it just means basically in a 3-player game, you've just skipped everybody as well. 4-player game, I don't know if you can go to 6. It didn't say in the little piece of paper that you could turn this into a 6-player game or a 7-player game. I don't see why you couldn't. I don't know if it'd really make it that much more unbalanced, but maybe technically it could. Next is the Eye of Agamotto. Choose the active color, in turn order all other players, burn a card until someone actually burns that color. In a 2-player game, that's brutal because you're the only person discarding. In a multiplayer, of course, hopefully somebody gets it. His third wild card is Shield of Seraphim. Only number of cards can be played until the start of your next turn, so that prevents somebody else from playing a wild, a skip, or anything like that to prevent, whatever card you just set up. And then his fourth card is the Hoary Hosts of Hoggoth. Tongue twister. Choose the active color. The color cannot be changed until the start of your next turn. So another way to keep the color to what you want it to be. Like I said, I think they're all 4. I mean, we'll just double check, but I think, yeah, they're all 4 total cards for the wilds. Yeah. Hosts. More hosts. So he's got a little bit more variety in his wilds. He had a couple of each versus Spider-Man, who most of his was that spider bite. Right? So the first villain in his deck is Dormammu, of course. When flipped, all players burn 1 card, then add 1 card. So they're basically burning and adding, so drawing and discarding. While attacking, when you play a wild card, burn 2 cards. So it kind of prevents, because it's supposed to go with the deck that they're with. That's why you don't just mix all the bad guys together. Although I think that would be kind of fun, just mixing them all together. But he prevents basically Doctor Strange from playing his wilds. And then to defeat, you basically play a non-wild. Event Peak, basically you have to reveal your hand. Event Setback, you have to draw a card. Event Smokescreen, all their players instead draw a card. Nightmare is his next villain, so when flipped, add 1 card, then reverse. While attacking, at the start of your turn, reveal your hand, so you have to always kind of play with your hand open until you get rid of them. To defeat, play any of the event card, well, the cards that have the event icon on it. It's not too hard to get rid of, because your deck has a lot of those. Event Confusion, the next card played cannot be a number. Blackheart, so when flipped, you have to burn 1 card. While attacking at the start of your turn, reveal a wild card from your hand, burn 1 card. To defeat, red and yellow. I don't think I mentioned. No, yeah, I've mentioned how to defeat him. Umar, so when flipped, add 1 card, then reveal your hand. So everybody's making Doctor Strange reveal his hand. When you change the active color, you have to burn 1 card. And then to defeat, you actually have to play a wild, which isn't too hard for most. We were getting wilds almost constantly when we play. So I don't know technically how hard that really is. But for us, most of the time, the villains didn't stay out for more than 1 turn. So they're not long-term effects that impact you. A lot of times they're just going to do that one-time hit or effect to make you discard or get rid of a card. All right, and then the last one we have, of course, is Scarlet Witch. So Scarlet Witch, her ability is Hex Bolt. There we go. When you reverse play order, all other players burn 1 card, and then she gets to recover 1 card. So her deck is all about kind of healing herself from what everybody else has done to her. Her first wild is Reverse Curse. So you'll notice all of her, or most of her wilds, I don't think most of her wilds are going to have a reverse. So this one has a reverse. The next card played must be a number. Next is Hex Blast. All other players cannot play wild cards until the start of your next turn. So it prevents them, kind of like Doctor Strange prevents them from playing a different color on you. Another Reverse Curse, another Hex Blast, another Reverse Curse. All right, where's her other ones? There we go. Chaos Manipulation. So this is her 3rd wild. Other players cannot play a, bam, bang event card until the start of your next turn. So that's real good against, say, for example, Spider-Man, who wants those event cards to be able to do things. Another Reverse Curse. There we go. And this is her last one, Probability Hex. So Probability Hex has reverse on it as well. You may skip the next player, choose a player to add 1 card, and then you get to recover 2. So in a 3-player game, you can basically skip that player, and then you have 1 less go through, right? So you get, basically it's a skip and a reverse combined. All right. And then her first villain is Ultron. So you knew they got to put Ultron in here somewhere, so they put it in with Scarlet Witch. Not really a fitting place to put it, minus the MCU. When flipped, shuffle your hand into your character deck and add the same number of cards. While attacking, you cannot use a character power to defeat red or yellow. Event Rewind, so she has a reverse there. So if she draws that, that's good because it activates her ability. Alchema, I don't even know who this is. When flipped, reverse. While attacking at the start of your turn, add 1 card. Event Limited Resources, the next card played cannot be a number. So that's very similar to the last one we saw. Event Ambush. All players with attacking enemies add a card and burn a card. Okay, so it's kind of like Spider-Man there, where you want to have more enemies out because that'll do more damage. Baron Strucker, burn 3 cards. While attacking, you can only play number cards and wild cards. This one takes a wild or an action, or a red or an action to get rid of. Enchantress, when flipped, recover 2 cards. While attacking, you may play a card, burn 1 card, or to get rid of her, play an action card or event card. I don't know what those cards are called. I called them everything in this unboxing. Last is Event Recall. Shuffle your hand into your character deck, add the same number of cards. So basically you can refresh your hand. But again, I say you can refresh your hand. It's not like you're going to be able to like just grab that card magically and say, here's the card I'm going to play. All right. So next thing we're going to do is I'm going to try to put all this back inside of the core box. Unfortunately, the way this insert is designed, I have an odd feeling I'm going to need scissors. So the way the original insert is designed, you can see it fits perfectly. And the cards that are in here are going to be too much. I thought if you take this out, which was one of my ideas, then you should be able to fit 2 decks easily on top of each other. But then you got to worry about them all getting mixed up. Now I could put them in baggies. Another option, and I don't know if this is the option I want to go with for now. If I don't want to cut the box, that's the option that I just showed you. Or if you're somebody who doesn't want to cut the box, that's what you want to do. The other option is if you don't mind cutting the box, you'll want to cut this off here. And then what you could do is this actually fits in here. So you can actually fit that in the bottom or the top, wherever you want to put it. And then these can actually kind of stack inside. So if you don't mind, like I said, if you don't mind cutting the box, then this is a method as well. Now, if they do come out with more sets, then of course this isn't going to work for much longer, because you can see this right here is already kind of full. Can't stack them that way, that's too tall. These fold down, although that doesn't really help much because you can't stick 2 of these here. Now, if you had another one of these here, like if they sold this piece where you could stick that there, that'd actually be great. Now, the other option, of course, is foam core. You make your own foam core insert if you are comfortable with doing that. I really don't know which way I want to go. I might stick with this method. But like I said, I'll have to cut this piece off, and then this will fold over. The cards really didn't stay in here anyways, even in the old insert. So maybe I'll go with the baggies. But either way, there's some ideas for you if you want to see how you can get this all to fit in the box. Technically, it'll all fit, just not cleanly. All right, there we go, guys. That is the new Uno Ultimate Marvel Uno Ultimate whatever add-on packs for Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange. That's who they were. If you want to see the gameplay, like I said, that is up. If you want to see any of the new decks versus any of the old decks, make sure you let us know down in the comments so we know which ones to battle against each other. Until next time, guys. Peace.